What is going on, everybody? Hope you all are well. Today we are going to be taking a first look at Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. We're covering this in March. I'm actually covering the Game Pass version here because it came to Game Pass. I'm like, why not? I also covered the Ninja Gaiden Master Collection a couple of years ago. That video is also up on YouTube. I covered all 3 games, also on Xbox Series X. So we're going to be covering both of these games here, and I'm going to be doing a comparison here because I might as well, because I own the Master Collection. So a bit of backstory if you don't know what this is. The Ninja Gaiden games were originally NES games, right? And then they had their 3D iterations, came to the first Xbox, and then Ninja Gaiden 2 and 3 came to the 360, right? And PS3. The PS3 version, they got like air quotes enhanced versions for the PS3, and then they got a Master Collection after that on PS4 and Xbox. So what happened was when Ninja Gaiden, and this is from Team Ninja, the people who make the Dead or Alive games, also the people who make the Neo games. Like Neo was the evolution of the Ninja Gaiden games. If you want to know like how are these gonna play and stuff. Ninja Gaiden 2 recently got like a master edition, if that's the best way we want to say it. So that's why we're going to be covering it, and then I'm going to be covering it to the Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2, which was in the Master Collection. So if I just quickly, because there's going to be this intro is going to go on forever. Okay, so when Ninja Gaiden 1 originally came out on Xbox, that had a let's call it, for lack of better words, Game of the Year edition, where they balanced everything out, added more content and everything, and they called that Ninja Gaiden Black, right? So that was for the first original game. When that game got ported over to PlayStation, because they was exclusively locked to Xbox for a while, they called that the Ninja Gaiden Sigma, right? So the Sigma games were always on. There was like the ports that came a year later that were on the PlayStation. So that happened with 1. That also happened with 2. With 1, they altered some content that some of the community liked, some of them didn't. But it was on 50-50 of what version is better. What happened with Ninja Gaiden 2? When the Sigma version of that came out to PlayStation 3, because it was Ninja Gaiden 2 was locked to Xbox. That had unfortunately like a major downgrade. So they tried to get that game looking in HD. And to get that game looking in HD, what they ended up doing was they ended up cutting a lot of the enemies. So let's say if there was like 5 enemies on screen at one point in certain segments, there'll now be 3. If there was some segments might have had no enemies, but they had enemies before. Also, they toned down the gore. So there's a mechanic in the Ninja Gaiden games is like when you chop off limbs off of people, after that you can one-shot that enemy with like your Y button, right, on Xbox controller. So it would signify, oh, his limbs cut off now, I can one-shot him. Also, if the enemy had his limbs chopped off, he would be more dangerous because he would like do an explosion attack on you and things like that. So what happened when Sigma 2 came to PlayStation, they got rid of the gore and the blood because they said it was too gory, and they still kept the limb mechanic in, but they wouldn't show limbs being chopped off when you got green blood. Another thing they did was they reduced the amount of enemies, because obviously they had to bring it up to HD. So they reduced the amount of enemies, and the enemies that were there in the game, they gave them more health. So a lot of the hardcore Ninja Gaiden fans said, oh, this Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2 is a way worse version because it totally fundamentally changed, not fundamentally, but it changed the way the game played. It made it where all the enemies had too much health. There wasn't enough enemies because there wasn't the blood, gore, and guts. You couldn't tell when to do the one-shot move because there was no limbs. It was just green mist everywhere. And I originally was like, toxic gamers, bro, boomers, most of them who like Ninja Gaiden from SNES, right? I was like, whatever, they're talking, they just want more blood, guts, gore. Okay, I've been playing this off stream. I apologize. I owe them gamers an apology. Because this is the first time I'm saying, okay, get out of my goddamn comments. You were right. Because I've been A-Bing both of these games off stream, and it was like, oh, actually, this is the first time I'm going to say this. The blood, gore, and guts actually makes a difference in this game because it makes it easier for you to tell when you can do the one-shot move. And obviously I can't speak to the enemy health. I can now because I played both versions about the enemy health and stuff. Because it's easier to kill enemies in the black two black, so it makes the game quicker and more pacey. But there's still more caveats to be had here. Okay, so Team Ninja has come out and said that we've lost the original code for Ninja Gaiden 1 and Ninja Gaiden 2. So even though Ninja Gaiden 2 Black has come out now, it's actually underneath the code from Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2. So all the improvements they added with Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2, I say improvements in air quotes, because they added a lot of content in Sigma 2. They added 3 extra characters, more modes, those are, and more bosses as well. So those are still retained in this version. So they've got, but it's weird. So, okay, they added extra modes and extra characters. Those are still here. They haven't added the full amount of enemies from the original Ninja Gaiden 2, right? Because there's still less enemies than that. And they've reduced the health so the enemies are quicker to kill. But at the same time, there's not as much enemies. They've re-added the blood, gore, and guts. So that's here, and they've added extra content. But there were certain bosses that the community didn't like. They said they slowed down the game and stuff. They've actually removed that content from Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. So it's like a very hard decision now, because a lot of my community wants to play these games. Like, yo, I heard this game's out. Should I play it? And I was like, you know what we'll do? We'll do a video, first look of this, and then we'll also do another video where I compare the Sigma 2 version through backward compatibility, and we'll just see what the difference is. So that's the plan for today. That's what we're doing. I'm sorry this intro went on forever. So yeah, let's like jump right into it, because the bigger conversation is to be had here is, obviously, if you own original Xbox, that Ninja Gaiden 2 is backward compatible. If you can buy the disc, you can play that version. But most people are coming and say, yo, should I buy the Master Collection? I feel like this is what everybody's going to be asking. Should I buy the Master Collection, or should I just buy Ninja Gaiden 2 Black? You know, so other things that they've said here is, that they've done here is, obviously this is made in like Unreal Engine 5, so this is like a graphical up-res port. And another thing I've heard, and I don't know if this is true, because I've been trying to A/B play them, but I'm not sure. People are saying that this is kind of similar to the Blue Point Demon Souls game, where underneath it was the same game, it just had a graphical makeover. So think of it like that. Underneath it's still the same game. So it's like still a hard thing. Maybe I should save this toward the end of the video, but whatever, you ain't getting to the end of this video. It's gonna be long. Like, on one sense, I would... So that's what they did for Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2, and they had Sigma and the black versions, depending on what console you played them on, right? And then Ninja Gaiden 2 never got a black version. Like, black version just come out now. But it's not like Ninja Gaiden 1 Black. There's still stuff that they've removed. You know, it's still kind of a nerf from the original Ninja Gaiden 2. What happened when Ninja Gaiden 3 was, everybody panned that game when it came out. It was like, people said it was awful, it was bad. And then that kind of got a black version, but that black version was on the Wii U. But then that was locked to the Wii U and nobody played the Wii U. So then that version, when they did the Master Collection, that was the version we got in the Master Collection, the Wii U version. But then people still didn't like the flow and everything of Ninja Gaiden 3. They felt it felt too actiony and stuff. So the bigger question is, okay, do I buy the Master Collection, which has the good versions of Ninja Gaiden 1 and Ninja Gaiden 3, or do I buy this game separately and it's also got Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2, or do I just buy this game separately, which looks and runs better, but it's still not the best version of 2? Like, if you have an Xbox, obviously you could, the best way to I would say, is like buy those individual games from the Master Collection, buy like 1, and then buy 3, and then buy this separately or buy 2. Yeah, it's a difficult. Anyway, sorry. Like, there's so much to go over here. Because it was weird. There was a lot. Like, I've got the Master Collection video up on YouTube. I've covered these games for years. There's nothing. It's like, you know how there's certain games that when they come out, they hit like the pop zeitgeist and everybody wants to play them, and all content creators are playing them to go, oh, this game is so hard. That's why everybody's kind of covering this, because for some strange reason everybody decided to cover this because it was a hard game, and let's put on hard mode and see what we can do. So this is why everybody's talking about it. Is like, oh, can we play this, whatever? But okay, let's talk about settings, and we'll get into that before. Okay, so first thing you'll notice off is here is so I'm not going to be comparing it to the original 2, because I haven't played the original 2. I've only played Sigma 2, the PS3 version, and the version that was on the Master Collection. So the first thing you'll notice here is once you complete a first level, loads of modes unlock here. Here it's a bit different. Like, only the mission mode, I think, doesn't unlock. Only the tag mode does. And even when you go into the tag mode, a lot of content is, if I go here, it's locked. So in the original Sigma 2, you could select your characters, and then you can select any weapon and outfit you want. Here, you can't. I'm assuming that content is still here. They probably want you to beat the game or beat those levels until that content becomes available. So that's one change they've done here. The other change is, I don't know there was a little graphic that came out everywhere to say, oh no, we've still got that mode. So I think they've still got that other mode that was in Sigma 2. It just doesn't unlock the same way. I think maybe you have to complete the game or something. So that's the first change here off the bat with this version. Another thing they've added here, obviously, is had the graphical upgrade, which looks nice, by the way. The game settings, everything's fine and normal here. We've got the whole blood settings and dismemberment effects. Again, which I originally thought it was just gamers being gamers, man. We want our games more gory. But actually, they're right. It actually adds to the gameplay. You need the blood settings and you need the dismember settings to know when you can one-shot enemies. So, you know, I'm not going to say this looks kind of cool, man. I don't thought I would be the person saying that. For controls-wise, they haven't done anything crazy. What they have done compared to the Sigma games is, I felt the Sigma games, the camera was always too low. Here, it's a bit more free-flowing, so you can move it around a little bit better, and it's a little bit higher, which is an improvement. It's still not the greatest camera, but that's an improvement. Let me see. This is the other big thing they've done here. Like, all of these settings, other than monochrome, was on by default. And I like motion blur. I don't care. Get out my comments. I leave that stuff on when it's on. For this game, I felt like I had to turn it off. So motion blur was on, depth of field was on, vignetting was on, and noise filter was on. You have to turn on motion blur and depth of field in this game because so many enemies run at you. You need to see where the enemies are is running at you. Also when their limbs are chopped off, you need to be able to see that you can one-shot them. So this is why it's actually probably important in this game to turn both of these settings off. Vignetting, if you don't know what it is, that is a screen effect that it makes the edges of the screen darker. But it looks good in certain shots, but for a video game, this setting should always be turned off. The noise filter was on, so apparently this game runs at 60 FPS, like Sigma 2 did, like the original 2 did as well. This has like a 4K mode and up to 120 FPS, I think. It doesn't run at 120 FPS, and when it does get to that higher frame rate, it lowers the resolution, and then the image gets very noisy. So I've got a feeling that's why they've put that noise option here. But if you're just going to be playing at 1080p 60 locked, you can turn the noise filter off. The monochrome thing is something similar that they did in Ghost of Tsushima. We're going to be playing a lot of Ninja games over the next couple of weeks because we're going to be playing Assassin's Creed Shadows next week. Stay tuned to the channel if you're interested in that. And then that game had this monochrome thing where the entire screen turns like black and gray, right? To give that look. Again, I don't know if it works here because, again, you need to be able to see the blood to see, okay, I can one-shot this enemy. So I don't think it works too well here, but there is that option here. And then chromatic aberrations, if I'm saying that right. This is a setting I leave on. I don't mind it. This adds kind of like lens flare and side edges and weird camera, weird like light effects. That's not too bad. It's not too offensive. It adds something kind of cool. It doesn't affect it, so I've purposely left that on here. And if you go here, they have a FPS that you can go 60 or 30, and I think if you connect it to a 1080p screen, a 120 screen, it gives you more options here. So yeah, that's the main changes they've added here, is all these post-processing effects and the options for the limb stuff. So what we'll do is let's get into it, and then let's just play. Let me go. I've got a couple of saves here. What I'll probably do is let's go new game. I'm gonna go normal difficulty because, again, I'm trying to show off, and then what I'll do at the end of this video, we'll show off the first 3 levels of Sigma 2, and then we'll probably put out a separate video as well of just if you want to see the comparisons. I don't know if I'm gonna play all the cutscenes because, again, this intro went on forever. Wow, I think that intro went on for actually... I don't want to talk about it. It's too long. I think that intro 13 minutes. There's a lot of information to get across, though. So yeah, I've been A-Bing and playing these like a lot over the weekend. This is now, if you haven't got access to the original 2, this is definitely the way to play it now. You cannot go back and play the Sigma version after you've played this version. But what is a shame is, I wish that they would have put this version in the Master Collection. Like, just redo the Master Collection and just add this version in there. That would be the best of both worlds, in my opinion. And obviously, if you don't know, the reason that this got stealth dropped announced, Xbox announced that Ninja Gaiden 4 is coming out like end of this year or something like that, right? And they're publishing it. Another thing, I know you're looking at the screen right now. Yo, remember, this came out at a time where this was peak Team Ninja, you know, lewd as hell. So let's just say the female characters, that's not even her outfit, by the way, when she's in game. She's just literally wearing a bikini. But they've toned it down a little bit here, because I was gonna say, yo, this was one of the features in the Sigma version of the PlayStation 3 version. PlayStation 3 had motion controls. When you moved the motion controls, you can get certain body parts to jiggle. Now, I'm not trying to say out here, Team Ninja is a bit dirty out here. Like, Team Ninja is a bit dirty out here. Like, obviously, I've got motion. I don't know if the PlayStation version still do that, but the Xbox version hasn't got motion controls. But like, there's the blood, guts, and gore. It looks good, man. Like, it's not as off-putting as the Mortal Kombat games, where this is too gruesome. Where was I? So, you know, even though I'm gonna be saying, oh, yo, bring back the gore and guts, it makes sense. That's not me giving license to say bring back the titty physics and all that. Oh, I wasn't paying attention, because that stuff is still a bit like cheesy and hell, man. It's I wasn't. Rusty. So they still do that. I don't know. There was a Team Ninja era where you could just go look at the Dead or Alive games, and we got beach volleyball and all that time, and it was just like, I feel like that era is coming back now with a certain demographic of gamers. Like, no, stop censoring our games, man. But some of it, like blood, guts, and gore, makes sense for the game. Like, you know, like the dude running around with a massive katana, right? It makes sense gameplay wise as well. But it just, you know, I don't want nobody looking over my shoulder when I'm playing this chick who's, you know, in a bikini basically, and if I'm moving my controller.
She said it was about the
That was a feature. I kid you not. That was a feature in the PlayStation game. You could move the controller and it jiggles certain body parts. It's like, what? I don't know. Am I just trying to do that today? I don't. Basically, this is all you do in this game, because the Inazuma drop is so powerful. Like, you can raise them in the sky and then do that move, and you one-shot basically everybody. So there's two moves you're constantly doing. One is that, and another one is like your charge move. So yeah, the other big thing that they added to the Sigma 2 games was like you get the like weapon wheel. So every level gives you a new weapon, which we'll unlock in a little while, and I'll show you. See how his limbs removed now, and then I could do the one shot. But yeah, it's weird. I never thought I would say this, but it actually does help with the gameplay. And another move you're constantly doing is just the charge. Again, look how crazy the screen gets. That's why I would say probably turn off the motion blur, because all it does is blur out everything that is going on. So yeah, a lot of our community play the Souls games, and people probably want to know, like, yo, how does this play? You know, why is everybody waxing lyrical about this game all of a sudden right now? Like, even though it's cool, but I'ma still say, man, I think the Ninja Gaiden games are a little bit overhyped. I'm a straight out honest with you. Like, yeah, I don't like. I get why people were crazy about these games when it originally came to Xbox One, because we hadn't, you know, this IP got reimagined We hadn't seen it since the SNES, and ooh, cool, look, blood and guts. And back then we didn't even have the Souls games, you know, and it wasn't really like Devil May Cry. It was a bit more like Devil May Cry felt a little bit more arcadey. This felt a bit more I don't want to say sim, but didn't feel as arcadey as, you know, those games. But then now that we've got the gameplay of the Souls games, like these still feel like arcadey mashy toward, in a sense, you know, like that's the Ninja Gaiden fans are gonna be so mad at me, but I'm saying this ain't like, this ain't the be all and end all of, you know, so that's why I'm saying that even though, yo, this game is definitely an improvement over the Sigma 2 version, is it still a, oh my god, like how did I miss this game? Like people regard Ninja Gaiden Black 1 as one of the best action games ever made. Like maybe for the time, I don't know if I would go back, you know, like going back now, I swear, like Ninja Gaiden 1 feels kind of clunky, man. And remember, if this is the same game underneath, like they did you know, Demon Souls 1, it's still the same game, feels the same underneath. They've just added the graphical gore effects. You know, it still feels like a game of that era is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, it's a bit difficult for me. Oh, and another option they've added here, I totally forgot about this option. I always I don't want to say I hated this game. I felt this game was cheap as hell, right? Because on the harder difficulties, there's a, hold on, how do I stop. Let me do my Limpo. Like in the later stages on a higher difficulty, what happened with this game was, because the camera was kind of bad, you had enemies that would throw shurikens off you off screen, and you couldn't, like, there wasn't like a spidey sense button or anything, so there was no way you could know, and you would always get hit with those shurikens. And it was annoying as hell. So all you was doing at a higher difficulty on certain levels, you were just constantly basically playing like this and just doing dodge, 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 because you couldn't see the shurikens coming off screen. So no matter how people want to talk about, oh, yo, it felt great to play, it wasn't cheap. No, it was cheap, right? To the point, what they've done here is they've added an option of off-screen shurikens now have an indicator. So even they knew it was cheap. And apparently there was like one of the bosses could one-shot you. Like if you missed time an attack, he would like blow up or something, and you'd have to redo the boss. So it was, I wonder if it was just, you know, at that time Xbox was still big, and I think and because these games were exclusive to the Xbox fanboys were just like overhyping these games. And when the first game came out, sure, it was I don't want to say revolutionary, but we hadn't seen a lot like it, and it was great. But then as time went on, actually no, you couldn't even say that, oh, we hadn't seen a lot like it, because the Devil May Cry games were still on the PS2. So I wonder if this was like just nostalgia speaking, fanboy speaking, but like this ain't the second coming, man. Like if they could make that, like that new game, like 4 that is coming out, like if it retains the limb cutting off, and it feels a little bit less clunky and free flowing, but you don't want it to feel like Ghost of Tsushima or anything like that. It's, you know, but at the same time, I don't want it to make it feel like Neo. But that's what they've done since these games is Neo, and I don't want this to play like Neo. You know, you can play this and you can see, actually no, this is clearly Neo is a hybrid of this. Yeah, and it's interesting. It's like, oh, I can't remember. Did they say the same team was coming back who did these original first 2 games? I'm not even sure. So it's like, that's why I would say is like even I'm spoiling the end of this video, I would say, yo, this is clearly an improvement over Sigma 2. There's like no doubt about it. But the bigger question is still is, like, should you be playing this or should you get the Master Collection? I don't still kind of say. Oh, chat goes Platinum Games is doing 4. Okay, so the original team is not doing 4. Sorry, when that announcement was made, I was moving house, so that's why I'm getting to this late. So I missed some of that announcement. That's why I'm playing this on Game Pass. Yeah, I feel like once you removed all the blur and the vignetting and everything, and then, like, you know, it's, you're not going to play on like crazy higher frame rates. I'm saying maybe the Master Collection is still probably better value to see if you really, if you like this game. Like, if you could pick this game up for, like, I don't know, 15-20 by itself, I was like, yo, no brainer, you know. But I think this is either almost a full price game or a full price game, right? This is, like, I reckon the best thing they could do here is like release a Master Collection Definitive Edition or something where they replace Sigma 2 with this, or have Sigma 2 and this in there. That's like, that would be, and then I would say get that collection. Oh, chat goes is almost full price, 40, I think. Yeah, that's still a difficult one. Do you buy the Master Collection or do you buy this? And I've got both. I don't know. Like, if you're on Xbox, you literally have got the best choice because you can play the originals as well with more enemies. Alright, I gotta concentrate here. Hold on. Get off me! Get off me! Oh my face. Bro, this guy. Uh-oh. Wow. Struggling out here. Alright, you need to come out here. Get away from there. This is annoying. My goodness. Because they was definitely gonna say that's definitely a 2000 females character design. And, sorry, I'm just answering some questions from chat. This way you get your first weapon. Is like a staff. So if you press up here, this is my favorite weapon in this game, I think. Do the controls feel tight and responsive? That was something that drew me to this because I want an action game, but I don't like the controls of Devil May Cry. So okay, it doesn't play like Devil May Cry. Devil May Cry is an arcade action game. So think of this as an halfway house between Devil May Cry and Neo. There's way more actiony than Neo, but it's not as loose as Devil May Cry. It's got the action aspects of Devil May Cry, but it plays and feels a bit more toward Neo. But the Neo games went more stiff. So I would say it feels better than Devil May Cry. You don't have some of the options with the juggle combos, but I was never the biggest Devil May Cry fan. Like, Devil May Cry nerds or something else, man. They love Devil May Cry, but like to me, Devil May Cry almost seems something like the Tony Hawk games, you know? Like, oh, how can I do this big combo and get those big numbers and style points and stuff, rather than you know, is this a Souls game? Is this a Neo game? Is this a Ninja Gaiden game where, you know, everything I do is intended? And those guys would probably say, oh, that's you're only saying that because you're bad at the Devil May Cry games. But like, and don't get me wrong, you can totally mash your way through this game. Like, I'm not saying it's that level of, like, you can get through this whole game by doing 2 moves. Like, you can do, like, you can do that charge move. You can literally get through the entire game doing that charge move. I shit you not. So basically, when you're doing that charge move, you can get in those orbs, and then when you get in those orbs, it charges your charge move faster. So you're going like this, you suck in the orb, and then you automatically go to full charge quicker. So you'll rinse repeating that all the time. I'm going in here, see, now I'm on full charge because I sucked in that orb. And you can do this throughout the entire game. Or the second way you play is you do the Inazuma drop. So basically you go 1, 2, and then you go in the sky and you hit them in the sky twice, and you do like a spinning drop. And then that basically, other than if it's a boss and stuff or it's a real big enemy, most of the time one-shots most enemies if you get the juggle in. So because the Sigma games, Sigma 2, the enemy health was so high, I played that game on PS3, and I was playing that game just by doing those 2 moves most of the time, because the enemies were like, you know, health sponges, you know? This move that you're always doing. So, you know, you can like cheap out this game also. Oh, here's another thing they've changed here. You can now access the blacksmith anywhere. So the blacksmith, you can upgrade your weapons. When you upgrade your weapons, you get more moves on them. You can now upgrade them anywhere. And also, you don't have enough. You can now upgrade your weapons anywhere at any of the shops. Also, you can upgrade them to max sooner. So before, you can only do 1 upgrade per level. Now it's just basically locked to how much credit and currency you have. That's another change they've done here. I can remember, like, here's a prime example. I can remember these bats taking a couple of shots. Now they're just one-shotted. So yeah, I still might be leaning toward the Master Collection. Here's the problem with the Master Collection. I don't think the 3rd game is good, right? I think it doesn't feel like anything like the first 2 games, and it's throwaway. So the problem with the Master Collection is you only really want the first 2 games. Actually, you know what? Maybe the optimal way to do this is buy Sigma 1. If you're on Xbox, buy Black 1, and then buy this separately, and you could just ignore 3. Like, put it this way, 3 feels more like it's going in the direction of a Devil May Cry game. Like, I don't know what they was thinking with 3. Like an action movie. Yeah, but what I'm saying is there shouldn't be like crazy FOMO on this. Like, oh, I'm gonna miss out on the story, the new game is coming out, what we're gonna do if I haven't played the old games. Like, I don't think to the extent where I don't think the new game is probably gonna play like this. Like, I would imagine it's gonna play closer to the 3rd game and the Neo games. Remember, they didn't like remake this game to make it feel like that. They've used the old code. They've just put new graphics on there. This is the old game underneath. And even then, they didn't have the tech and the know-how to remake the original 2. And it was like, yo, that code's lost. And we ain't got that same team here that made the original 2. So we just straight borrowed the code from Sigma 2. So then have they got the... Oh, obviously that doesn't matter because Platinum is making it. But then Platinum is making it and their games feel totally different anyway. If Platinum is making it, I would say it's more going to feel like a Devil May Cry, if anything, than it is going to feel like the first 2 Ninja Gaiden games. So then it comes to the question of, okay, who is this for? You know, this is probably for the hardcore OG Ninja Gaiden fans. Like, I don't know if this is for like gamers coming into this new and fresh. For them, I probably might still recommend the Master Collection because you get more games in there, you know? You get free games versus the price of one. You can buy the Master Collection games individually as well. Because this still has PS2 era, like original Xbox 360, PS2 era vibes, you know? Just looks a lot nicer now. And like hardcore Ninja Gaiden fans are just as crazy as hardcore Devil May Cry fans talking about, oh, how you should play this game is, you know, best thing since sliced bread. Like, nah, calm down, bro. Okay, you ain't missing that much. I guess the From fans are exactly the same though, right? They would say, no, play the From Software games. Da, 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 da. Like, does the... So what makes it even worse is for the hardcore Ninja Gaiden fans who basically won't play Sigma 2 because they say, nah, Sigma 2 is trash. Go play the original 2, right? They're not going to be happy at this anyway because there's not as much enemies anyway. They still haven't got the same amount of enemies. And they're going to say, yes, they've added back the gore and stuff, but underneath it's still Sigma 2 and not original 2. So the enemy placements are different. There's less amount of enemies. You know, it's kind of like how that speed running aspect of this is gonna be a bit nerdy. Like Castlevania Symphony of the Night has had loads of remakes, and the hardcore community like prefers certain versions. It's still for those hardcore fans, it's still gonna be that for this game, right? The ones who swear by it are still gonna swear by 2, and then for the people who have no frame of reference of, oh, should I buy Sigma 2 or should I buy this? Well, you haven't played the original anyway, so it doesn't matter to you. It's got more gore, sure, but then on that sense, you probably should be thinking of value for money and being like, oh, actually, I can buy Master Collection and I get a chunk more games. So, you know. Or like, maybe the best thing is just... Actually, I couldn't even say wait for 4. Because again, with Platinum making it, we don't know. We don't know what 4 is going to be. Could be its own totally unique thing that plays totally different anyway, and nobody's not happy at it anyway. All right, wow. Can I get out of this corner, please? There's a button that you hold down that tells you which way to go. I honestly think that we've got this new thing of we've got this new era of hype, which is very weird, and it's based on what streamers and YouTubers are playing, and that's this new era of hype, regardless of whether a game is good or not. And it's everybody's just FOMO of, okay, I want to play that thing. And the thing is, I'm being a content creator myself, is that whole industry is very weird. Like, we're always looking for content to make and games to play. So what is a good streaming game? Because it's very hard, and I'm gonna play it on the hardest difficulty, and everybody will say I'm so good at games. It doesn't necessarily mean that that game is a must-buy. Oh, I better not miss out on this game. And like, this is one of those games that has fallen into that, you know, that sphere of, oh, everybody's playing this recently, therefore, oh my god, is it a game that I can't remember? It's got no lock on or anything. Is this game of, wow, in January everybody was playing this, is this the new hotness? Or maybe it could just be in January content creators had nothing to play, you know, so take that into consideration too. Wow, what happened to my charge though? And again, I think a lot of the I know there's gonna be no hits runs and stuff as well, but again, some of the bosses are cheap. Like, this ain't that game that everybody's thinking in their mind where it's all about 100% precise controls, and you know, oh, you can play it like that, but like, let's not pretend like, yo, there ain't cheap shit in this game.
Take us up.
I can remember when I originally played this on PS3, I was so hyped because Sigma, I believe Sigma, if I'm not wrong, Sigma 2 came out before Sigma 1? I think that's right, because these games were locked to Xbox, and then Sigma 2 came out, and then they went and backported Sigma 1. So I was so hyped. I was like, oh my god, this is one of the games that is not coming to PlayStation. Gears is locked, and this gory action game is locked, and we finally got it now. And then when I played it, I was like,
the CIA want with me.
We have a serious problem. The fiends are trying to resurrect the Archfiend. We can't let that happen.
I see the agency's broadened its horizons.
Ryu, they're heading for the Hayabusa village. They're after the demon statue. Your clan is in danger.
like, if you wanted to speed through this game, cut out all the cutscenes, do optimal playthrough, it's not that long as well. I think it's like 11, 14 acts or something like that. All right, let's go. I think you get the Falcon Talons or something here as well, right?
Genshin. Why am I not surprised?
How the vaunted Dragon Ninja bloodline has withered, Joe Hayabusa.
Your embrace of the evil way has consumed you.
Evil.
I don't know if there's a demo out of this.
Knows neither good nor evil.
Corruption of the soul is a fate that befalls the weak.
Enough talk. The ties that bind our clans are
Yeah, going back to that comment of, so this is more for the original Ninja Gaiden 2 heads because it's the black version.
bloodstains on my
You know, for new gamers, again, why not just get the Master Collection, because you don't know what the original played like anyway, so it doesn't matter to you. Because you're still going to end up playing it very similar. Hold down your charge button, do the Inazuma drop, you know. Where's that other dog? Oh, oh, there it is. I was gonna say, I swear there's a couple of dogs there. All right, and then here, see, you can access the. I think you could access the blacksmith here originally. Anyway, have I got enough credit? So one, I think what they've done now is, from what I remember, is you could always get one level up, every single time. So in some ways, they've made it better for the speedrunners because you can level up whenever you see these shops now. But in some ways, it's bad because you don't get the guaranteed level up if you haven't got the credit. See, camera's still not the best. Should say there is a, you can throw shurikens and you do get a bow and arrow in a bit, which changes into a gun later. I know that makes it sound like I know that makes it sound like Devil May Cry, but it's not. It's just like, all right, let's equip these. I don't like them. They look cool as hell, but they hit hard. But I think I prefer better combo potential. Says that and then does a crazy combo. Like, one clear evolution they can do to this game when Platinum makes it is when you could do those one-shot moves after the limbs have been severed. Just make it like the Assassin's Creed games where you could one-shot a couple of enemies at a time and not just one. It's like that would be satisfying as hell. Like, cut the limbs off of 2 enemies and then imagine get that locked. Oh, did I miss it? I missed it. Camera angle. So you basically do it once you get like the, you can, people probably say, oh, that's the cheap way to play though. Whatever. Man, in some instances it looks very nice though, like here. Oh, this is where, okay, this is where you get the, you can aim it like this and shoot, or you could just do quick shoot. There is an auto lock on. The both segments are like not great, so it doesn't matter. Lock onto it like it was a GTA game and just fire. Doesn't really add nothing. When you get the like grenade, shotgun, whatever it is, cannon, adds a little bit interesting, but it's not like Devil May Cry where you can like incorporate it into juggle combos or anything like that. Camera up, move. Totally lost the where it is. Like seriously, the camera is not helping here at all. Let me back out and see what is going on. Why was that so hard the first time?
You're already dead.
Follow the woman. You must retrieve the statue. Go now.
There's no need to shout it. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe like during that era, everything was way cooler about this game. Or maybe like with 3 coming out, it took a lot of the shine off of this. But I don't see a lot of this and I'm like, oh, cool. Oh, man. Like your levers are kind of skin tight and you look kind of dorky, you know? Like, Alright, this level really shows up the new engine well. Dogs were bad in Souls games. Alright, you get a weapon here. Let's... That it? Yes. Again, not a fan of this weapon. Also, like, they give you a lot of weapons you end up only using. I say I use the scythe a lot, I use his main sword a lot, and I use the I use his main sword, the scythe. Oh, and the staff. That was my 3 go-tos. Like, at least the girls, they added enough of a gameplay change because they play different, and only like one of them is really good. Unfortunately, Chat is not the one that you see in all the cutscenes with the really big ego. So you gotta appreciate, like, it's a halfway house, I suppose, right? That you get all the extra content and it plays better than that. Still doesn't play as good as I mean, from what I'm told, again, I haven't directly played the original 2, but everything else they said about, you know, comparative to Sigma 2 was correct now that I've played this compared to. So I'm gonna believe them for what they say about 2 as well, because like general consensus is it just speeds up the gameplay. It's meant to be quicker because enemies ain't health sponges, which, to be fair, I don't think they are here now. But if they're gonna add more enemies in that version, then they probably even got less health, right? So you can mow through way more of them. Oh, is it down here? He's dead. Leave him alone. Talk about overkill. Why do these enemies remind me of Spawn? Not Spawn, Venom. Alright, the game looks really nice here. Yeah, it's shocking to say, man. The blood is like, it really is a big improvement. I never thought I'd be saying that. It makes so much sense as well. Yo, these blades should be cutting limbs. It's weird. They really stick with it though after these games, right? And not a lot of other action games that kind of picked up that. Like maybe they were scared of the hyper gore violence, but like I'm trying to think something else like that. Like not even the Souls games, right? like that persistent enemy limb stuff. Wait, I'm mind blanking. Did Neo do any of that? Right, I think that shows enough of this off. What we do here is let's jump into Sigma 2 Master Collection. We're going to be playing it through backward compatibility on Xbox Series X again. And what we'll do is we'll show like 2 or 3 minutes off of each level, and we'll add that to the end of the video, and probably add that as a separate video as well, just so you can get a good comparison of what's going on. So stay right there. We'll be right back. Let's go. Looking chunky out here. So let's go. So the first thing, like I was telling you about, like, oh, chapter challenge and ninja race and all that, and tag mission. Again, I think those modes are still there. I think they're unlocked differently though. Like, to double check that, Tecmo Koei have put like a graphic out somewhere that shows you what modes and everything that is in each version, so you can go look at that. The prologue was here because originally, again, when Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2 came out, I don't think the first Ninja Gaiden was on PlayStation, so they added like a prologue just to show you like what was the story of the first game, and it was in this kind of this kind of style. I think that's correct. Anyway, that's just to show you what was there. I think that was what was going on there. If we look at options, you know, again, for screen, there's none of that bore or anything, like nothing really there as well. So what we do is we'll go new game, we'll go normal difficulty, and we'll show a couple of minutes off of each level. So see, no limbs chopping off, and instead of blood splatter, we just got blue mist. I guess we'll just leave the no, we'll skip fully. Like without the blood splatter and everything does look like much cleaner. Again, that's just, yeah, that is the, like, you know, that's the big improvement. Limbs chop off easier, enemies ain't sponges, and where are they? Maybe they was a bit more cheaper with the shurikens as well. I can't remember them. Burn them from that far. And when you're A/B and compare them, it's like, man, okay, maybe like they've added more effects and stuff, but the graphics haven't taken. Like when you turn off all the blur and stuff as well, it's like not massively. Just for the video, what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna cut a bit forward until we get the staff, just so I can show you. And again, this video doesn't go on forever. So there'll be a little bit cut here when we get the staff, so you can see what staff gameplay is like. Come on, where am I? Oh, do I have to kill the boss first? But yeah, this boss, they've cut it out. Like it's, so this is the thing is that I don't understand why. like, yeah, the boss is cheap and maybe it's not for good for like speed running lot and all that, but it's not like say oh, the some of those other bosses are not cheap, so it's like, oh, how could they do it? I don't get why they cut that content. Like, it doesn't add to the pace and the flow. It's like those people who take this game a little bit too seriously, I think. I was like, yo, is this version easier to play? It's just I've got used to the level now that I've played Black 2 for a while. The reason I keep clicking them, I don't know if you unlock certain moves by reading certain things. I can't remember. Maybe I like this weapon because it's the most cheap. Right there around here. This is what we're here for. Maybe I'm coming around to these weapons. They do a chunk of damage. I wish the way they did that was better. It's going into first person, or like, you know, behind the back camera sucks. I don't know how much it adds. In fact, it doesn't add nothing. Alright, this is enough. It just kind of shows you what the second level looks like. Alright, so this level will be a good test, right? Because the rain and stuff. Actually, this level... Alright, visually you can tell with this level as well. Okay, in the new game, this level looks really nice. gonna say, I saw there's a gajillion dogs here before. Oh my days. Yeah, not playing this AB. I don't know if maybe I'm just talking it up about the enemies have a lot less health and the limb severing mechanic and everything. Maybe it plays very similar. I mean, there's a little bit of blood there. Uh-oh, he's still alive. Wow. All right, talk about overkill. But yeah, want to explode on me? All right, I think that shows off enough of this level. Let's just let's go back. Oh, I could just probably, I got quick resume, right? Let's okay, this will show this off perfectly actually. Wow. All right, graphically it's a lot. It's a lot. I guess a lot of the haze effect and everything like adds a lot, right? Like you're still clipping through. Look, you're clipping through the concrete out here. Like you're not standing on concrete out here. You're floating. It's like the effects around it is what builds it, right? Because like the floor textures and all that don't look like they've been improved. I don't know if this is because it looks smoother or like I feel like it feels. Maybe this is just in my head. Yeah, there you have it. You know, that was a quick first look at the game. Again, there'll be probably two videos. One would just do a comparison video. One would show a first look of the new game, and then at the end of that, there'll be a comparison to the older game. I guess it comes down to the hardcore still are saying this is not the original 2, so there's not as much enemies, and you know, some of those enemies still have too much health. And then for the people who haven't played the original 2 is the question of, well, should you buy this or should you buy the Master Collection, which has a lot more content and is way cheaper? Or is this a good primer for you to get into 4 that comes out, which we don't know if it's gonna play like this because it's a different team, and this wasn't even the best of, you know, the Ninja Gaiden games to everybody. I think the hardcore say the black one, right? Or one black is probably the peak. So I guess that's a decision that has to be made for you, right? So like I'm showing it off AB here, graphically what it does different, and like it's nice. And again, I didn't think the gore would make that much of a difference. It does, mechanic wise, so you can see when limbs are off and you can do the one-shot kill. But 3 games versus 1, I mean, that's a question for you, right? I think the best way is to play is if you're on Xbox, because you can get the best version of every game. You can get the new version of this game that looks the best. You can even play the original 2 through backward compatibility. And you can buy the Master Collection version of Sigma 1, or even play one. You know, you have a lot of choice on the Xbox side in playing the original. When it comes to PlayStation, is just like, well, I could buy the Master Collection, you know, or I could buy this, or another option you probably have is I can buy, because I know on Xbox I think they sell the games individually from the Master Collection, so you could probably just buy Sigma 1 and then buy 3 and then buy this, and those games we covered in 2021, I think. So like they should be cheap enough, right? Like maybe that's another viable option for you. But yeah, the choice is yours. Leave a comment, let me know what you thought. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget, depending on what video you're watching, there'll be a shorter video that shows just the comparison of the 2 games and not just the first look. If you're interested, that'll be up on the channel. Don't forget to follow and subscribe depending on the platforms you're watching. We stream this live over on Twitch. We stream that a couple times a week. Got a community Discord and Twitter. All that information will also be in the description. Come check us out. Other than that, I think we'll call it this one. Thanks for tuning in. Much love. Peace. Oh, and don't forget, if you want to watch that original Master Collection video, we covered all 3 games. That's also up on the channel.